You're tuned to The Drive on your 24/7 home of the black and gold. Steelers Nation Radio.
Good afternoon, Steeler Nation. It is The Drive on the Steelers Audio Network. Wes Uhler, Matt Williamson with you here on this Wednesday for the next 2 hours. We're going to have some fun today, Matt.
I love it. Let's do it.
Of course, today is also Happy Beast Day to all who celebrate.
It's a landmark in the draft process now.
600 pages
Is that what it was?
Of Dane Brugler's draft dossier, if you will.
Yes.
With that, all his top 10 positional rankings and bios on everyone. I want to get into some of that in hour number 2. But, Matt, we start today with something that we've been teasing for a little while. Mm-hmm. Our Steelers Top 21 Big Board.
It's huge. I think we should do right before the draft, just if we have any tweaks, but it probably won't change much.
Maybe like the Monday before the draft or something.
Yeah, Tuesday, something like draft week or something like that. This is hard because, all right, I think I've explained it before. I don't know if teams do this. I have a strong hunch they do. I think they're insane if they don't. Whatever your draft position is, your 30th, your 5th, your 6th, whatever, I think you should do a board of that many people and really rank them from 1 to your number.
If we're on the clock, first round, first pick, here's who we're taking.
Yes.
Okay, second pick, that guy's off the board, here's who we're taking.
Yes.
Okay, third pick, that guy's off the board, here's who we're taking.
Exactly. And the way I look at it is if the Steelers had the first overall pick, that person should be number 1 on your list. If he's gone and you have the second overall pick, that guy should be second on your list.
Yes.
Now, you quickly get to, man, there's really good players at other positions versus not as good players at our positions we need. Who would I take if my foot was to the fire and the top 15 are gone and I'm on player 16?
Sure.
And I think that makes it fun. If you're at 21 and you do this, I think generally you probably get player 12, something like that. Mm-hmm. You're not going to get 21. But if the world collapses in the worst case scenario and the worst 20 people go off the board, you have to have a plan.
Yes.
Who is the guy we're going to take? And we can't trade out. And people, and the big boards that are going to be in the war room take this to a step further. Like, we really love 27 guys. So if 10 of them are on the board and we're on the clock, we're going to strongly consider trading down, you know. But if worst case scenario, apocalypse hits and I have to take my 21st player on the board, you don't just pass and forfeit the pick. You go up there and you pick somebody.
Yes, you do.
So you might as well do a board like this. And I think that also tells you who you're really shooting at. So one example, the Steelers traded for Minkah Fitzpatrick. Mm-hmm. And I think Kevin Colbert or Mike Tomlin or somebody in the organization after the trade, which they don't make those type of trades very often, said, we thought Minkah, I might be a number off, was a top 6 player for us in that draft. Mm-hmm. And I think he went 11th to the Dolphins.
He went 11th to the Dolphins, yep.
But I bet if they did their board, he might have been their 6th most important player to the Steelers.
Sure.
And that's the way I look at this.
Like if we were doing this exercise on Bills Nation Radio,
be so different.
We wouldn't have Mendoza in our top, whatever they're picking.
Maybe not 21.
Right.
Right. Yeah, right.
Or maybe we would because, I'll find something to do with him. I'll trade him, whatever. But
I don't want to get too nerdy with that stuff. Just like, some of those things I did. Like, if you put an edge on there, I totally understand it. And then you got more edges than you need, and maybe you're fielding offers for Herbig or Highsmith or Watt.
I only put 2 edges on mine, and they're pretty late in the list. 3 edges on mine, and 2 of them are pretty late in the list.
Not to reveal anything, because we'll get to it. I do have Reese, but I don't have any pure edges.
Okay,
but they were just missed.
I have Bailey and Bane, but they're very late in my list because it gets to a point where I'm like, okay, I gotta take these guys if they're still there at that point.
And I'll be honest, I think Bailey and Bane were 22 and 23 for me.
Okay,
it came to when we go through this, it came down to, who would I take for the Steelers? That's the only mentality you have to have.
Yes.
This guy's available or this guy's available. Who are you going to pick?
That's it.
So I'll let you take over here in a second, but I think it's safe to say that if the Steelers had the first pick overall, we would both take Fernando Mendoza.
I think that's very safe to assume, yes.
Now, I don't want to get into the whole nonsense because this really doesn't apply of, well, if they had the first pick overall, maybe they would have done their offseason different. Maybe they don't make the Pittman trade, or maybe they sign a different corner or whatever. I'm talking about how the team's constructed on draft day. If for some reason 20 teams pass on Mendoza, you would take him. You know what I mean?
I think I'd be comfortable doing that.
Right.
Yes.
All right, so take it away.
Okay, so number 1, we both have Mendoza.
Yes.
Yes. All right, so Mendoza's off the board. The Steelers are on the clock at pick 2. I have Sonny Styles.
I have Reese.
Okay.
Now, I will say these first couple don't matter because they're not going to get there. So you can really split hairs. I'm sure Love and Downs and some of these other guys will all come up. The best players in the draft.
Absolutely.
So I didn't kill myself of 2 versus 3.
Should I really have this guy at 3 or 5? Should I have this guy at 3 or 5? I spent much more time thinking about the middle towards the end of this exercise than the first handful of picks.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I mean, like when I ranked receivers versus tackles versus Thieneman and guys like that, that'll be the real decisions. Those are the ones I looked at for really 24 hours, and I'm going to move him a little. I'm going to move him 2 spots, that type of thing.
Yep. I made some tweaks to mine when I got in here today.
I did this morning.
I moved just a person or two
last
a
night.
little bit different. I was like, I'm thinking about this a little bit more now. So, yeah.
Like, I would take Reese and I'd just throw him into the Steelers' front 7 somewhere. And, hey, if people start calling about Highsmith, I'll listen, but he's really good.
Yeah.
And I assume your logic was the same.
I have Reese at 3, so not far off. My just difference was I love my pass rushers currently.
Yeah.
If I can get Fred Warner to really put the cherry on top of that defense. So I went Sonny Styles 2, Arvell Reese 3.
I think there's a really strong case to put Styles 2 because Queen's a free agent after this year.
Yes.
Wilson's good, but he's not Fred Warner, and it's not going to be far till you have to decide to pay him.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd say the cupboard's pretty bare other than that.
Yes.
And I think the defensive front is better than the linebackers.
Yes.
So your front 7 got really good.
I think the secondary is better than the linebackers.
Yeah, I guess that's probably the weakest position group. I mean, if you go to the 3 levels.
If your weakest position group is Patrick Queen and Peyton Wilson, that's a pretty good place to be.
Not too shabby.
It's
right.
not too shabby.
And if you drafted Styles, maybe the Cowboys would say, hey, we'll send you a 4th-round pick for Queen. Like, all right. I can't resign him now anyways, so, okay. And I don't want to look at the part 2 of it too much.
Yeah. Agreed.
Agreed. Yeah.
So who do you have at 3?
Cardinal Tate.
Okay.
Just position need, and I think he's clearly the best receiver.
Absolutely. I've got Cardinal Tate at number 4. So far we're pretty close.
Yeah.
We're pretty close.
I got to admit, my first 6, just pull back the curtain, Styles is 6 for me. But really the difference between him and Reese at 2 is minimal. Mm-hmm. 2 through 6 to me are almost all the same.
Okay. I like that.
Okay.
So I have Mendoza 1, Styles 2, Reese 3, Tate 4. You have Mendoza, Reese, Tate.
Downs.
Okay.
Again, the Downs, when you said Styles at 2, it made me think, why do I like Downs more than Styles? Because they're probably about equal position need.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like the Steelers have 2 safeties. Neither one's Polamalu or Reed.
It's not Micah Fitzpatrick when he first got to Pittsburgh.
I mean, Downs would fit in almost identically to how we had the Styles conversation. I think Elliott's up after this year, too, and Brisker's only a 1-year deal anyway. Mm-hmm. And frankly, we know they're going to draft a safety.
Sure.
What's the difference between using the 1st-round pick and the 3rd-round pick? Or I think they'll draft a linebacker. What's the difference of taking a 4th-round linebacker or Styles? You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Okay, so you have Styles 4th.
I have Styles 6.
Sorry, Styles 6. You have Downs 4th. Pardon me. I'm getting my Ohio State
my top
confused.
6 really are. I didn't spend a lot of time saying 6 versus 4, 4 versus 6.
Sure. I have Caleb Downs as my 5th.
Okay. I assume the name we have not mentioned is Love for both of us.
Yes.
He's my 5.
Okay. I'm getting to him here shortly.
Oh, okay. I didn't mean to speak for you there.
Yeah, no, that's okay. But I know. So far we're pretty close. Just a couple little.
These are the best players in the draft.
These are the best players in the draft.
And kind of my thought process is any of those top 6, Mendoza aside, he's a quarterback. We're taking the quarterback. But Reese, Tate, Down, Love, Styles, I'm just not going to pass on a potential Hall of Famer.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
that guy could be a 10-time Pro Bowler, so I'm going to take him no matter what position he plays, you know?
I agree with you on that. I think that's that was kind of my same logic was.
And I don't
some of
quite
these
look
guys-
at Tate in that same light. I don't think he's as strong as prospect as the other Ohio State guys, but his need was bigger.
Same.
Yeah.
Like that, he's the one in there that really fits a need.
Yes.
I guess certainly you could say
The others do too.
the others do
but-
too. You know, Caleb Downs, he could be your safety for a long time. Sonny
Yeah.
Styles, a long time. But Carnell Tate definitely fits the.
It's not like those other guys would sit on the bench, but I mean, like, you're definitely drafting a receiver high. You know,
correct.
right? You might as well take the best one.
Okay, so I have Mendoza, Styles, Reese, Tate, and Downs as my top 5. You have Mendoza, Reese,
Tate, Downs, Love, Styles.
Styles is
my top
your 6th.
Yes.
And I've got Love as my 6th. So we
Okay.
have the same top 6,
Yeah.
just in a couple different pecking orders.
So the way I read that is Mendoza's the easy one.
The easiest. That's the easiest part
Easiest
of
of
this
all.
exercise.
Right. And it'd be fun if there was another quarterback to fight about.
Same.
You know.
Like
But
in some
anyway.
years, this would be a lot of fun for the quarterback.
Right,
If
right.
there's 4 or 5 guys going in the first round and the Steelers
Like, I remember
need
when
one.
Dale and I did this, my top 3 was May, Caleb, Daniels.
Sure.
And then we started to get into, like, Alt and
That's
Troy
a
Faltanu.
fun one.
Yeah, that was an awesome year. It was like, there's too many good ones to get to 20 or whatever. Like, you're going to get a great player at 20 or whatever their number was, you know. So the top 6 to me are kind of a boring conversation, comparatively speaking.
After my top 6, I have a little in parentheses. This is where it starts to get a little bit harder.
Yes. Now I start
Because
looking
those
at,
are-
like,
those
O-linemen
six-
and
those
receivers.
6 are the kind of blue chip. Maybe you don't put Carnell Tate in that blue chip conversation, but he's a need. He feels so safe as a pick
Yeah.
of a guy who's going to have a really good career.
And you'd love to add him to the Steelers.
And you'd love to add him to that
And-
offense.
yes,
Certainly.
exactly. And I'm not comparing him to Jamar Chase or any of those. I'm just saying what's available in this draft for my needs. He's pretty high on the list. But I don't think any of those 6 are going to be Steelers.
I certainly don't think. But my number 7, I think there's an outside shot he could be. I don't think he's going to be, but of all the people we've named so far, he's the only one with maybe even a minimal chance to make it to pick 21.
Okay.
And that's Spencer Fanu, offensive lineman out of Utah.
Totally get it.
I've got him number 7 on my list.
He's 8 for me.
Okay, look at us. So
Yeah,
far.
yeah,
We're not far off.
And I think he's a run to the podium if he happens to fall guy.
Absolutely.
I give him a 30% chance to be there. Unlikely, but not the craziest thing I've ever heard. Some people might be like, what position does he play? Some people might be like, he might play all the positions. So I'm definitely
Who
taking
cares?
him. Right.
Yeah.
I took Malagoa there.
Okay.
Because I think I'll get this with a couple other guys too. I think he's an A-plus guard. Or an A guard. Quentin Nelson's an A-plus guard.
Sure.
But Malagoa to me is plug and play left guard, and if I never move him,
Awesome.
fine. You know, he's probably going to Pro Bowls, and I'll find a left tackle or sign Cook or Jones or whatever. But I did hold a little more weight, and it sounds like you did too with Fano. The guard now, tackle tomorrow is pretty appealing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's very appealing.
Very appealing.
Especially when you consider what the Steelers are working with.
Exactly.
In their repertoire as we sit here today. Okay, so I have Fanu 7, you have Maui Goa 7, you have Fanu 8, you
Correct,
said, and I
correct.
have Maui Goa 8. So we're just flip-flopped on those 2.
Okay. Probably enough said on that.
Yes, we'll do a couple more here before we go to break. Who
You
you
do
got?
the top 10?
Yeah, who
All
you
right.
got at number 9?
Vega, Venga, Vega, Venga, Venga.
This is so funny. We continue to be like one spot off
Yep.
on these. 9, I have Mansour Delane.
Do you? Okay.
I do. And then I have
That's our first big difference.
and then I have Venga at 10.
Okay. I think Venga's clearly the best guard in this draft.
Just guard.
Just guard.
Mhm.
But I dinged him. It is Vega. He goes by Vega. N or no N? We had this conversation.
Ola Venga Ioane is how he pronounces his name. So if you listen to the end, Ola Venga Ioane.
But then we just have this battle. Doesn't he go by Vega? And someone on Twitter yesterday told you it's
I think he was just
Venga
telling
and-
us that we were pronouncing it wrong.
Okay.
But I'm pronouncing it based off of how he pronounced his when he was asked at the combine at the podium. He said, my name is Olavenga Ioane.
Okay, but I thought he went by Vega.
He might. Because nicknames and things like that are different.
Right. Which sounds like a Stranger Things villain or something.
Vecna.
Vecna. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Maybe we should just start calling him Ioane.
But the Penn State guard is my number 9 guy. He's another run to the podium. I don't care if he never moves from guard. He's never going to move from guard. I think I've seen better guard prospects over the last 10 years, but not many.
Sure. Like Quentin Nelson was probably a better one. But yeah.
I don't think he is A-plus athlete, although they move him around like a move tight end and things. But I think he has A-plus power. I think he's everything you want in a left guard for today's
He'll
NFL.
start in the NFL for a long time.
But I put Fanu and Mauagoa ahead of him just because they might be my left tackle someday.
Just a little bit more potential upside value there.
Yeah. What was your Dane logic for this high?
The more and more I get into, because I hadn't really, until we got to Gerard McCoy's pro day, I hadn't done much on cornerbacks.
No, me neither. Especially the top guys.
Yeah. Because you're solidified with Joey Porter Jr. You went out and you got Jamel Dean. You
got Samuel.
You have Samuel.
Right.
You have Eccles. You have Ramsey still if you need. But
they might only take one in the 6th round or not at all. Right.
The more and more I watch his tape, I love this guy.
You just think he's great.
He's got just this junkyard dog over my dead body attitude that I absolutely love from defensive backs.
Okay.
I want my defensive back to be Jalen Ramsey. I want him to think he's the baddest MFer on the planet, like Jalen Ramsey has for the last 10 years. I want that confidence borderlining on extreme cockiness, from my defensive backs.
Yeah.
And he's a junkyard dog, and I think he's got a lot of room to grow too.
Okay. And hey, him and Porter for the next X amount of years is pretty appealing.
And position of, corners are hard to find. They're expensive on the open market.
Yes. It's not a throwaway position or I can just get one in the 4th round type of move. Okay, so we're going to do one more?
So who do you have it? So I have Delane at 9 and the guard from Penn State at 10. You have Penn State guard at 9. Who do you have at 10?
My boy Max.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
I love it.
Yep, my boy Max.
I love it.
Yep. To me, he's close to a run to the podium guy, too. I like him more and more every day. I get such... All right, I'm going to take a second. Twitter gets so mad at me when I take this guy in the first round.
People come after you like crazy, Matt Williamson.
I don't understand it at all. First of all, with a lot of the conversations, they keep drafting tackles. I'm sick of tackles. Or, Matt, quit taking him. Part of it's because I do it every time. Fine. Criticize me for that. But please realize that this guy could be an awesome guard as he learns and might be an awesome tackle. So there's a little rawness there, obviously, and inexperience. That's why he's not right next to Fanu or Mauagoa. But I think his upside's every bit as high. And I'm not going to ask him to be on an island against Myles Garrett at left tackle year 1.
Sure. That's, I think, the biggest thing with him is I think people realize he's going to need some time to marinate. He's going to need some time to develop.
Yeah. And frankly, if he's not even ready for week 1, I don't care. I'm going to play Anderson there.
We've seen them do that with recent, first round picks on the offensive line. I had a feeling you were gonna. I mean, I've got him on my list. I had a feeling you were gonna have him very high in 10th.
Yes,
I love it. So there's our top 10s.
Who was your 10? My
10 was
guard for Penn State.
Was the guard for Penn State.
Okay.
VI, maybe we can start calling him. The Stranger Things guard. Yes, was my number 10. So there's our top 10s.
Okay.
Let's get into 11 through 21, our next 11 here, when we return to keep this exercise going. I'm enjoying this.
Yeah.
Matt and Wes's top 21 big boards.
Think of the fights that people would have if they actually do this in the Steeler War Room everybody chiming in. How can you pass on Delane? Yeah.
Imagine if we had to make a consensus one of these, just with you and I and Pursuta, and Tom Opferman and
Max,
Max,
right.
And,
Right, and we all had to battle it out.
It would be very difficult.
Eventually, Omar's like, everyone get out. I'm doing it myself.
That's right.
I mean, that's what you got to do.
Everybody go grab a sandwich. All right.
Go get a workout in.
Go get a workout in. Go grab a sandwich.
I think that's what like Belichick would do. Like, okay, thanks for all your input. Get out.
You guys don't have to get out. You can stay, all right? And we'll be back with the rest of our top 21 big boards as we roll along here, just getting started on a fun edition of The Drive, Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network.
What's up, NFL fans? The NFL Draft is finally here. And while you might not know who your team is drafting this year, you do know your watch party's #1 pick, Bud Light. The clean, crisp taste that has all the scouts talking. Guess that's why it's been the group's go-to draft beer season after season. Be sure to order a round for the table before your team's on the clock. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
What a day here in the Steel City. The Beast has been released. Matt and I are unveiling our top 21. Producer Nate Dogg is smiling like a butcher's dog because Connor Griffin signed a big extension with the Pirates earlier today.
Yeah.
The sun is shining. The draft is 15 days away. Everything is coming up Pittsburgh right about now.
You're right, man.
And we love it. And we started the show, the first segment, with getting into Matt and I's top 21. Remember, this is not just our top 21 prospect rankings. This is through the guise of a Steelers big board.
Entirely.
Black and gold glasses, baby. Number 11, Jordan Tyson, wide receiver, Arizona State.
Okay. I know that you've liked him more than I've liked him every step of the way. So he's your wide receiver 2 for the Steelers.
Yes.
Okay. Fair enough. He's not mine, but
I understand too, and I went back and forth on this.
That's a cluster there, though.
I went back and forth on this because I do think with what the Steelers have right now, like if they had to go play a game on Sunday, that's proverbial.
Right.
I think Mekhi Lemon would be a better fit in that wide receiver room. I don't think I know Mekhi Lemon would be a better fit in that wide receiver room, but just projecting long term, I'm not drafting a guy for 1 year necessarily.
No. This is who you're drafting for their first contract and beyond or whatever. Right? Yeah.
I like Jordan Tyson a little bit more than Mekhi Lemon.
Okay. So my last 4 picks have all been offensive linemen.
Yeah.
And I'm going to keep it up with Caden Proctor.
Wow.
We have not talked about him a lot.
I love it.
I think so. The guard from Penn State's the best offensive lineman in this draft. I think he's clearly the best guard in this draft. But I'm not sold that Mauigoa and Proctor and Fano wouldn't be equal guard onlys.
Okay.
And the fact that they also have tackle capabilities. Like I look at Proctor and Mauigoa and I'm like, if I didn't even think about them as a tackle, they could challenge Ione for just mash your face guard, 350 pounds, and you throw in and sprinkle in some tackle possibilities because no one does guard rankings with them in it.
Sure.
Yeah, like, he's the 3rd best tackle.
Sure.
But what if you only looked at him as a guard? He would compete for the top spot to me, as would Mauigoa, as would Fano. So I lumped them all together. I put Max ahead of Proctor just because I think his upside's higher.
Okay.
And I also think the Steelers' O-line isn't in bad shape right now. So I could play a game with the dudes I have right now and be pretty good.
Yeah.
But if Max hits 6 years from now, I might be real happy.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And that's part of this balancing act, too, is what's best for you right now. Just the same Jordan Tyson, Mekhi Lemon conversation I just had.
Yes.
What's better for you right now versus what's better for you for the next 5 years.
Exactly. Okay.
And so that's how you wait. I think that's I like it. You're going heavy with the offensive lineman. Pick 12. Who you got?
KC Concepcion. Ooh-hoo-hoo-hoo. He's my Steeler 2 receiver.
I love it.
And it's tough. I mean, it's kind of like that lineman conversation. I think there's 6 wide receivers that have a chance to go in round 1 to whatever team. I think we know the names. Mm-hmm. I mean, you mentioned them, Lemon and Cooper and Boston, et cetera.
I've got 5 of them in my top 21.
I have at least that many, 5 or 6, yeah. I just think he's perfect for the Steelers because he's your punt returner right now, too. Some of these other guys don't bring that. That's not the biggest thing that I'm going to put a ton of stock in, but he's a great one. And the Steelers' top 2 receivers are really good players, but they're not as juicy and as explosive as Concepcion. I think he's clearly different than what you have, but he's not too little to be like, I'm not putting Branch or Burks. Or, you know what I mean?
Yes,
just because they have
yes.
juice, you know?
I completely see on that. Okay, so at 12, you go Casey Concepcion for your wide receiver 2 for the Steelers. At 12, I've got Mekhi Lemon. So
Okay.
I have Matt 3 wide receivers in a row here. I've
got a bunch in this neighborhood, too.
Jordan Tyson at 11, Mekhi Lemon at 12, and KC Concepcion at 13. So I only have him 1 spot different than you have.
Okay.
I feel like Lemon might have a little more upside. Maybe I'm being a little bit guilty of everyone's been doing the comparing him to Amon-Ra St. Brown thing.
Sure.
And to me, that gives me Hines Ward flashbacks. And I'm like, man, I'd love to have another guy like that once again. But I really like all 3 of those guys. But I go Tyson 11, Lemon 12, KC 13.
Okay. So, folks, we didn't compare notes at all, by the way.
No.
I'm just not – I have some worries about Tyson, and I'll bring it up when I get to him. But I basically did the same thing because I did Concepcion at 12, Lemon at 13.
Okay.
You know, and that was – I went back – that was one of the ones I looked at a bunch. I'm like, do I want Lemon or Concepcion?
And you could really convince me either way. I'm not like – that's one, if we're all in the war room, that's not necessarily something I'm pounding the table
I'm not on the
over.
table saying –
it has to be this one.
Yeah. Agreed. One of my tiebreakers there when it was all said and done is I think Lemon – I don't want to say he's slot only, but he's slot mostly at least. Mm-hmm. And I think they want Pittman in the slot mostly.
Okay.
So that was my ultimate tiebreaker with Concepcion because I think Concepcion's going to be better outside than Lemon is today.
I like it.
You know, so that was my tiebreaker. But both would be highly welcome additions to that wide receiver.
So you had Lemon 13.
I had Lemon 13.
So we just had those 2 swapped, Lemon and Concepcion.
Exactly. And I have some issues with Tyson.
So I told you in my notes after pick 6, I put this is when it starts to get hard. After this pick 13, I put in parentheses, this is when it starts to get really hard.
Yeah. The very end to me was really hard too, like who to leave off and who not to. But that's almost like the very top of the conversation because you're not going to get to 21. You know, you're going to take your 16th guy and not have to worry about it. You know,
that's a good point.
Yeah,
that's a good point. All right, so pick 14 here is where we're at. Correct? Yeah, you've given all. Yeah, you've given yours. Pick 14. I have Jermod McCoy.
Okay, probably for a lot of the Lane reasons.
Similar reasons, and I realize that he hasn't played a football game since January of 2024. But my goodness, at 19 years old, he was the best corner in the SEC. And I think he's got the potential to be a Pat Surtain, a Gonzalez, Stingley, a true nasty shutdown. He might have, of all the people outside of my top 10, he might be the one that I would say like that guy could have a gold jacket type resume. One day.
Yeah.
And I know it's not the biggest position of need, but at this point at pick 14, I think I'm starting to get into that range too, where I'm like. Some of these guys that aren't the blue chip prospects, but maybe in that next wave, am I starting to think about them now?
Yes, okay.
Like where the value is just so good into the teens that even though it's not my biggest need, I'm drafting for the next decade.
Great at what they do.
Exactly right.
I do have both corners on my list, but later. Okay. And I might have been a little harsh on them. And we'll get to them.
Well, it's funny. I've got Mad Max and Proctor on my list. Both a little bit later, and I'm starting to think maybe I was a little too harsh on them.
Oh, yeah. Dale and I used to do this, too. We'd talk each in the ear. They're like, okay, I'm going to move this guy up 2 spots. You sold me,
that's
right?
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So you just gave your 14th,
14th,
right?
Jermod McCoy, yeah.
Mine's Dylan Thieneman.
Okay, he's my 15th.
Oh, okay.
We continue to do this like not being far off.
Again, I mean, if there was the linebacker safety conversation's pretty similar to me, he would be different than the safeties they have. I think he's more free, but not small.
Mm-hmm. He's just versatile, man.
He's super versatile and
smart football. He's the kind of brain you like having on the back end.
Absolutely, for a long time.
Yes,
you would hope
the brain and the athletic acumen to go with it. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I went McCoy 14. Thieneman 15. You have Thieneman 14. Who you got at 15?
Omar Cooper.
Okay.
Again,
He's coming up in just a few picks for me.
And this is the area where I'm drafting for need a little more than I like, because maybe I should have I had McCoy, when I get to it, I had McCoy and Dane next to each other, but I had McCoy ahead just because I think his ceiling's a little higher. Like you said, he might be a gold jacket guy, Maybe this is where I should have inserted them, right behind Thieneman, because clearly I would have a better grade on McCoy or Dane than Cooper.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
But that's the balancing act.
That's
why
totally
you talk
the
through this
balancing
stuff,
act, yeah.
right? I mean, to what point? Because this could happen. Remember we were asked about, what would it take you to persuade you to take McCoy at 21 over an O-lineman or a receiver?
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't quite there yet. I'm still going to take Cooper over him, but I could be persuaded to take the guy with the higher grade.
It's an interesting.
And I like Cooper, though. It sounded like I was hard on him.
Yeah. So this is the spot for me. So after Thieneman at 15, this is the spot where I was starting to be like, okay,
This is where you don't want to make the pick at 21.
This is where you don't want to make exactly right.
You hope that not all those guys are gone.
This is also for the sake of this exercise where I'm like, okay, at this point, I'm starting to get less into what are my needs for 2026 versus who are just going to be the best football players for me for the next 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
So at 16, pardon me, I went David Bailey. At 17, I went Ruben Bain Jr.
Okay. For that same reason. They just have higher grades.
They're going to be top 10 picks.
They're better than what they do. I can't just turn my back on them.
I'll figure out what I'm going to do with Herbig or Highsmith or Watt. I'll figure that out, but I just can't turn my back on these guys that could be all pros.
And people forget, and I'm guilty of this with this list too, the league is not for long. I mean, Highsmith could get hurt and Watt could be retired in 2 years, and Herbig might be on another team.
Totally.
That's
a great point.
I want $30 million a year. Okay, Nick, you got to go somewhere else. And Watt hangs it up in a year, and Highsmith has injury issues and is in the league. And all of a sudden, you got nothing.
All of a sudden, you go from having the best edge rusher group in the league to holy cow, we need some help.
Yeah, Jack, you're all alone there. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I just picked Cooper. Tyson's just right behind him.
Okay.
I mean, it's, to put the two receivers together.
Sure.
Here's my concerns about Tyson, because I'll be the first to admit, if you watch his highlight tape, he might be a top 5 pick of the draft. I mean, it's wow.
It's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. The injury stuff worries me, but there's some stuff on tape that worries me too, is he has unusually short arms. And you see it sometimes in his catching radius. He's going over the middle on these nice routes and all that, and he just doesn't – it's not as big a circle to throw the ball in.
Yeah.
And I think his route running needs a lot of work because he's got a lot of wasted motion, and you can get away with that when you're the best athlete on the field. But I don't need all this just to get from here to here. And frankly, I think Aaron Rodgers would hate it. He would hate it.
I think you're right.
You've seen Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Of course.
Yeah. I started using this with Andy Isabella, who was one of the worst I've ever seen at the line of scrimmage, because he's dancing and zip, 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 and going left and right, and you're not eating up any ground here, dude. I can't hold the ball for 4 seconds while you get open. But Andy Isabella and the young, lesser degree, Jordan Tyson, is the swordsman that's
and Andy just pulls out the gun and
shoots him in the face, right? I got no time for that, man.
Oh gosh, you and I were laughing about ESPN put out a draft comp article, and we'll get to that at some point, maybe tomorrow or later today. But Jordan Tyson compared to Jerry Jeudy by Ben Solak. I didn't like that one.
Jeudy does some dancing.
No, I didn't like it, not because I think it's asinine.
Right.
I didn't
like
it because I was like, oh man, I can't
it
see.
Hits home a little bit,
see some of that, and I'm not a big Jerry Jeudy guy. But
Judy's highlight tape's really pretty too. Like Matt Harmon calls Jerry Jeudy an Instagram receiver. If I put my Instagram stuff out there on Just of Jeudy, it's like, ooh, that's pretty. But the other 100 snaps, you got to get off the line of scrimmage, dude. But you can coach that stuff. It doesn't mean he's a loser.
Totally,
yeah, right. Yeah,
totally. So that was 16 for you or 17?
Cooper was 15. Tyson was 16.
Okay. So I did David Bailey 16, Ruben Bain 17. Who you got at 17?
Monroe Freeling 100% on – he may not even play for you this year because I don't want to play him at guard.
No.
I think he's too tall. I don't think he has any guard whatsoever. I don't know if he'd even beat out Cook this year. But he's a left tackle, and he might be a 10-year starter at left tackle, and you bet $100 it might yield you 800.
On the same ESPN article of draft comps that I just referenced, they have him compared to Broderick Jones. And I know that might
I get that.
That might jump scare some Steelers fans, but their logic is like, he's young, all the potential in the world is there. He's just going to need some time to figure it out.
Georgia guy without much experience.
Georgia guy without,
right.
It's
a little bit of a lazy comparison, but
starts.
it's not a bad one.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a good way to put it, actually.
But nobody batted an eye when the Steelers took Jones. I mean, it hasn't worked out great, but it doesn't mean
there was no one like, oh, that's a terrible pick.
Right. Exactly. Freeland's going to go higher than he's not going to be out there 21.
18 is where I have Omar Cooper Jr.
Gotcha.
So again, we're not too far off with a lot of this.
No. 18 and 19 is where I took the two corners.
Okay.
I put McCoy and Dane there, just like, and I lumped them with Freeling. It's like they're premium positions. They have high grades. I'll just take them, and hey,
yeah.
I got a second rounder and 3/3. I'll draft other stuff there.
Heck yeah.
I
totally
get a
get
guard
it.
or whatever.
Totally get it. So 18 and 19 is where you
that
go.
was
Corners. Right?
18, 19.
18, 19. Okay.
Yes.
So 18, I have Omar Cooper Jr. 19, I have Matt's biggest crush, Mad Max, Ian Achor, out of Arizona State.
Gotcha.
I had to have. I mean, he had to be in my top 20. Absolutely.
Yes. He's probably the guy we differed the most on. Well, no, Dane and Max are the two we probably
both
the biggest
about
gaps
9-10 picks
right,
apart.
Right,
but
right.
you know what? Honestly, if our biggest gap is 9-10 picks apart, that's not bad.
It's not bad
for an exercise.
And
with
this
as
is
many,
kind of a weird draft too.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm very interested to see how the end of your list plays out here.
I don't love the end of my list.
Okay, so 19, I go. You want me to run through my final two
yeah,
here?
Sure.
So 19, I took Mad Max. My last two, 20, Caden Proctor. 21, I thought about Kenyon Sadiq here.
He was my 22nd.
He would be my 22nd.
Yeah.
Yes, but I took Monroe Freeling for all the same reasons that you just mentioned.
Okay, totally get that. My 20 is Denzel Boston.
Okay.
But I have some reservations. I think Rodgers would love him because he's always where he's supposed to be. When you throw the ball in his direction, he catches it. That's great. He doesn't separate a lot. And he's a little redundant to the big guys they got at this point.
Kind of similar to what you have.
So, maybe I should have put Bain or Bailey there, or...
You got a lot of salt in the kitchen. You need some pepper and some paprika and some garlic, onion.
Yeah, because my just miss were Bain, Bailey, and Sadiq.
Okay.
I didn't rank them, but they were the ones that were my hardest ones to cross off. And then my last one was Lomu, which is it's just kind of the semi-light beer version of Freeling.
Yeah.
Like
semi-light beer version.
And he's a first-round pick. It's not like he's a bum.
Yeah.
It's like he's a left tackle.
My next ones were Sadiq, Lomu, Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, Ty Simpson.
He was on my original list. I think I mentioned this yesterday. I just went through every position. Who might I even consider? And I had 28 names on there. And I put them on.
Yeah.
But then
I don't know how I feel about that one. But
Right. But he was not in your top 21.
No, he's not.
Right.
But he's my 26th or whatever. And would I really actually draft him at 26th? I don't know. So maybe I'm...
That's what I was going to ask you.
Maybe I'm BSing myself.
It's easy on Tuesday afternoon to have him at 26.
Sure.
But I think the Texans pick 26. Whoever it is. They make an offer to the Steelers. Hey, we'll give you next year's second and a third this year to go from 26 to 21. You want to make that trade? Yeah, okay.
Sure.
And then you sit there and your top 25 are gone and it's Ty Simpson.
Mm-hmm.
Are you really going to do it?
I don't know.
That's the thing. I mean, when you actually have to make the pick, do you actually do it?
How about this? By the time we do this exercise again in 10 days, 12 days, whatever, maybe I'll have an answer for you on that.
You're right.
Ty Simpson.
Because you'd have a lot of other stuff to address your other needs. It's easier to take them now than it was at 21 when you didn't have the extra picks.
Of all the people in this draft, of all the names that we just ran through, I think Ty Simpson's the one that I still would like to do some. What I want to do is he had that stretch, right? First 9 games were great.
He might hit.
First 9 games were great. Last 4 or 5 games were brutal.
Yeah.
I mean, but
he was injured.
It is a night and day difference, but he was injured.
Yeah.
I want to go back and watch like the last 2 games before he got hurt and then the next 2 after he got hurt. And, really kind of dive into what he looked like before the injury, what he was still able, what did he struggle with, how much of that was directly related to the injury.
And that's why I lump him and Nuss together too. But they're both little, and I wonder, are they always going to be hurt? You know what I mean?
They are always going to be little.
They're always going to be little. And
they're not 16 anymore. They're not going to grow.
12 games in the SEC was more than you could handle. 18 in the AFC North ain't going to be any better.
No, it is not. It is not. Well, that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that.
We'll get some feedback on that.
We will get some feedback on that. You guys know where to get at us if you want to get involved. We'll close down the hour when we return. We'll get into the beast from Dane Brugler in hour number 2. A lot still ahead of us here today on The Drive. Uhler, Williamson, Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Couple beefy segments there in the first hour for Matt and I to kind of roll out unveil our top 21 Pittsburgh Steelers big boards.
Much anticipated.
The people were lining up outside. You should have seen the secondary market on Ticketmaster. It was insane. It was like a Taylor Swift ticket trying to get those big board information.
You thought people wanted to hear see the beast. They were waiting on that.
That's the real beast, right? So with that, we've got just a few minutes here to get our clock back set.
They were beefy segments.
They were 2 beefy segments, but we kind of anticipated that.
Sure.
Get to a couple of your tweets here for a few minutes to close down the first hour. We'll come back, and speaking of the beast, we'll get into some of Dane Brugler's annual draft publication in hour number 2. Mr. Steel City tweets us and says, what is the reason it seems like a lot of the Steelers' 30 visits are mostly guys that are graded as mid-round talents? Also, this is not Steelers related, but do you think Andy Reid is going to design some crazy play types with Mahomes and Fields both on the field, maybe even maybe near the goal line or red zone, some Taysom Hill type packages?
The Chiefs stuff I've definitely thought about.
For sure.
I bet Reid's wheels have been spinning since that trade.
I don't think he'll want to take Patrick Mahomes off the field very often, but maybe there's something with both of them on the field.
I've heard some smart people thinking that in this day of super athletic quarterbacks, is having 2 on the field the worst idea ever? Especially if you don't have a Mahomes. If you would go on a little tangent here. If Fields is like your best quarterback, but you have 2 of them, maybe you have both on the field and you do all kinds of crazy stuff. If you have Mahomes, I'm snapping at him every time.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you really do have 6 skill position players. One of them's always a quarterback that throws the ball, and you look like instead of looking at it like you have 5, you can really have 6.
Now that you mention that, and maybe this is totally,
and you're not super worried if they get hurt. You're like, I'm not running Mahomes as a running
that's
routes
the best
for
part.
Me. You know, right? Yeah.
I'm surprised one of these innovative college football coordinators hasn't tried something, or maybe they
college
have.
Is when they should.
But absolutely, like
you got 7 of them on the roster, and they're all good athletes.
The whole idea of making your quarterback a runner more than just a pocket passer.
Then you get 10 blockers.
Started in college with the idea of we can attack with 11. Like you used to talk about this all the time. It was like what Rich Rod did when he was having all his success at WVU at the turn of the 21st century. It was like, I'm never going to be able to recruit these guys to go toe-to-toe with LSU and Alabama and Ohio State. It's not going to happen.
That's why he made a mistake in Michigan, because he did have the linemen to do
exactly it. Right.
Right.
But like, we're going to attack with 11. Like that was his whole thing in that Pat White, era. It was like, we're going to attack defenses with 11. We're not going to attack with 10 like
and
a lot
I can
of teams
recruit
do.
Receivers.
We're going to
so
attack.
I'm going to put a lot of receivers on the field.
Exactly.
You're right.
I'm surprised one of these like NAIA or D2 or JUCO or something hasn't. We're gonna put if my best 11 offensive players, if 2 of them are quarterbacks.
Yeah,
put them both on the field. That's
if you had like twins of Justin Fields and that's your best quarterback, I bet someone smarter than me could devise at least a package, maybe not every snap, with both on the field. Who's eligible? Who's not even eligible? Who's not? It's like, defenses aren't designed to guard the quarterback as a receiver. So if you're in man, and all of a sudden Fields motions out and Fields part 2 comes in and takes a snap, like you can just have a lot of communication problems. As for the visits, who knows, to be honest? Maybe they just don't. Usually the visits are designed to answer questions. Like, we didn't get enough time with you for you to answer this question. And yes, we want to spend time with you, but I mean, maybe the first round type players, they had enough time and they have enough background and enough data on that they don't feel like they have to bring them in. Or maybe they don't want to tip their hand. I mean, maybe they're convinced they're taking a wide receiver in round one if all your visits are Tyson, Boston, well, yeah, I don't want anyone to know that.
Sure,
yeah.
Sure. A lot of it is smoke and mirrors, too. It's not just what's on the surface. You can read some tea leaves, but there's also some monkey wrenches thrown into that equation as well.
Yeah. Throw some people off.
We got a bunch of tweets. We'll get to more of those in hour number 2, but we have to reset here at the bottom of the first hour. In the second hour, today, Wednesday, April 8th, our guy Dane Brugler released his 600-page The Beast draft primer for this entire class. We're going to go through all 600 pages when we return. No, I'm just kidding.
We're just going to read them verbatim, right? Like a phone book, right?
We're going to take turns. We'll read like 10 pages each at a time while the other one of us refreshes our copy.
This is your bedtime story, yeah.
It's like reading through a phone book. That 600-page thing is so big, it probably looks like a phone book. I'm surprised Mike Pursuta hasn't printed it out already in here.
Jammed up the printer, right?
He's on a plane right now to Las Vegas. Who am I kidding? He's flying out for the Frozen 4 like he always does. Hour in the books, another hour to go. The Beast released on the other side, and we will discuss. Uhler, Williamson, Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Good evening, Steeler Nation. How we doing? Well, that's good. Us too. Hour number 2 here of the Drive on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. And Matt, we have The Beast. Mm-hmm. Dun, dun, dun. Which, of course, is our buddy Dane Brugler. He's been on with us the Combine every year. I think I've done 8 Combines now.
He's a regular.
I think the only year we didn't have him on was COVID because we were all doing our coverage from home that year. But besides that, he's a regular. He is one of our favorite draft nicks. You've heard us, I'm sure, and a lot of you. We've got so many awesome, loyal listeners to this show, and we love y'all. You have all heard us reference the Beast and Dane plenty of times since February.
It's a great reference tool, too.
But for those who are unfamiliar, Dane Brugler is the lead draft analyst for The Athletic.
Mm-hmm.
And the Beast is kind of how he cut his teeth. It's kind of how he made his name in this business.
It's his baby, yeah.
It is rankings and information on all of the top 300 prospects each year in the NFL draft.
Crazy background stuff.
Some of it's like when he was in middle school, he saved an old lady who was falling out of a tree. I mean, like,
he's a downhill skier by trade, but then he became a tight end, right?
Won his 5th grade science fair project by making a volcano explode in the middle of the auditorium.
Yeah. And it's now maybe as important as ever because all these transfers and all the background, and amazingly, in today's day and age when information's everywhere and it's at the touch of your, it's right here on your touch of your feet or your fingers, pro day numbers you can never find. They're exactly real. Arm length is like wrong all the time. There's other things. Birth dates. Yep. I know a lot of people in the draft were like,
this guy 22 or 23.
Right. Like, come on, man. But Dane puts it all there, and that's why it takes a while to come out because he wants every pro day to go through, and then boom. And what I guess the Athletics doing this year that they hadn't before, it used to be one PDF that you get on this date, but now it is updating between, if you go to the site, there might be an update or two. I mean, I don't think he's going to change his ranks or anything.
Sure.
Oh, this birth date was wrong, or this vertical was wrong.
When you're doing 300 prospects on 600 pages.
Yeah, right.
I'd be shocked if it was completely perfect when you released it.
Right.
I don't care how many editors and proofreaders you have look over it. There's still going to be 1 or 2 things that you miss or might be slightly off. But yeah, it's a good exercise. You're right in the value of still showing up, the value of face-to-face interactions and conversations.
Yeah.
Because Dane man, he pounds the pavement to put this thing together, and he talks to a million different people. And you're right, it's so
Scouts,
easy.
people in every college.
It's so easy in this age of information to just do everything from home and Google, but he still pounds. And I think there's still something to be said for that. I tell that to like young people in this business.
Mm-hmm.
When people reach out to me and ask for advice, one of the first things I always tell them is, in 2026, there's still a lot of value. In fact, maybe more than ever before, in still showing up. Like still being at the game, being at the practice, being at the pro day, being at the combine. Don't just sit at home and watch it on TV. Like there's real value to talking to people still, making those relationships.
Even if you aren't outgoing and you're just listening and being around it.
And Dane does that about as well as anybody.
Yeah, it's well said. And frankly, when it comes out, I don't really care if he is Omar Cooper as his 6th or 8th wide receiver. But I love that it's all together.
Yes.
And I haven't yet, but I certainly will start reading profiles of the guys I want to learn more about. And frankly, I mean, when we're on the air on draft day and, we do a lot of coverage on that draft weekend, it gets referenced a lot.
Yes, it does.
When Steelers take a guy in the 6th round that I've heard of, that's my first stop.
Guess
and then I go to a couple other places.
We're pulling up the beast, baby.
Of course.
That's it. That's exactly it. So how do you want
to... And there are other publications I'll look into, too. He's not the only one out there that puts out information.
Absolutely.
But it's the best one.
It's so thorough, man. And he is a guy who is really one of... I don't even know if it's fair to call him an up-and-comer in this business anymore. Because he works for...
I remember when he was.
He works for The Athletic. This article is published on the New York Times website. So I think he's doing just fine for himself.
And as you referenced, too, it's not like now he exhales. Now he just does media every day, all the time.
He's probably appeared on 15 different podcasts and shows today alone.
Yeah.
So he's got top 10s for every position. He's got his overall top 10. Do you want to start there with his overall
that's
top
cool.
10?
Right.
Because I do think there's some notable things on here. Number 1, Arvell Reese is number 1 on his big board. A versatile defender who has the physical traits to become a dominant pass rusher.
So unlike what we just did with the Steelers top 21, he has to do this generically. If he doesn't work for any team.
Through the eyes of 32 talent evaluators.
Who's the best prospect in the draft, not who's the best left guard because Isaac Seumalo's in Arizona. Right.
Exactly right. So Arvell Reese 1, Jeremiah Love 2.
I think that'd be my top 2 in some order. Just again, we're not talking about position value.
Yeah,
right.
Totally. Just who are the best at what they do. Number 3 is Fernando Mendoza.
Okay.
A clear-cut QB1, intuition, throwing accuracy, and confidence are his superpowers.
Totally agree.
I think that's. I mean, he's very accurate. He's got that above the neck intuition. Certainly not perfect, but a clear QB1.
Quick story on him too. Another one of our combine buddies. This is a new buddy, Nate Tice from Yahoo.
Yeah.
I was listening to his podcast yesterday / this morning, where they were breaking down their favorite prospects, et cetera.
He's the one who played quarterback at Wisconsin with Russell Wilson.
Exactly.
Right? Okay.
Yeah, Mike Tice's son. Does really good work. And at the end of the podcast, he had an interview with just him and Mendoza.
Oh, nice.
And I'll be honest, like, this sounds counterintuitive, but most of the time when everyone knows I listen to a ton of podcasts, but usually when an athlete's on, I'm like, all right, I'm done with that one. Delete. Because he's not going to tell me anything.
They all have the same cookie cutter canned answers, and
But I'm like, Nate's a former quarterback. Mendoza's an odd dude.
He's an interesting cat.
I'm gonna listen. And it was pretty cool because he was talking about like comparing football to business immediately, and like, I've got money. He doesn't hide from me. He's like, I have money now, and I'm into my investments as much as I am learning defenses. And just I think everyone knows he's an interesting fella, but I'm buying in more and more that he can be on my billboard or he can lead my team, because when he walks between the lines, he's a killer, man.
He is.
I mean, the toughness and weirdness or whatever. I mean, the toughness shows up in a big way. I don't care about the weirdness, but he is focused and I think he's going to be pretty good.
I think so, too. Will he be a potential gold jacket guy? I don't know, but I think he's going to be really good for a long time.
Yeah.
And I think he'll be exactly what the Raiders need. So he's number 3 on Dane's big board. Number 4, Sonny Styles, linebacker out of Ohio State. Freakish athlete on track to be an instant impact linebacker.
Yep. I mean, you had him 2 on your Steeler list, and I totally get it. Right.
It's very hard to be an instant impact linebacker off ball in today's NFL.
Yes, it is.
But he's one of those guys who certainly feels like he has the tools and traits to do so. Number 5, Caleb Downs, an elite tackler who did not allow a touchdown in coverage for 2 years, a surefire NFL starter.
Not Dane's fault, but I'm not sure how you know a safety.
We've talked about that with Joey Porter Jr. too. Like, you don't know what coverage they were in,
every
who
play,
exactly,
right?
But it's still
especially for a safety. At least a
impressive.
Corner might be in man.
That's
you
true.
know, like I'm a deep middle guy, and I bid on a play action pass and I get beat.
Right.
Well, you should have been in deep middle, but you're nowhere near the ball, so no one calls it was your touchdown. Yeah.
So 3 Ohio State guys in his top 5: Reese, Love, Mendoza, and then Styles and Downs. That's his top 5.
Okay.
Ooh, this is the first time looking at this. I like this. This makes me feel a little bit better about my list. Number 6 on his big board, Mansour Delane.
Oh,
corner
is it?
from
Okay.
LSU.
I have not studied this yet. Okay.
An alpha competitor who projects
That's exactly how you pronounce them. Yeah,
as a plus starter despite having average size.
The competes. I guess I haven't studied him as much as these other dudes because I don't think there's any chance to be a Steeler. But his competitiveness is a strong trait.
Sometimes for me, I think I hesitate to be like, oh, this dude is just a competitor, because that makes okay. Aren't all these guys? They're playing.
You better be.
You're a high level Division I college football player going into the NFL.
I say that all the time for the quarterbacks. First guy in, last guy out.
Good. That gets you in the room. That gets you in the conversation.
If you don't have that, you got no chance.
Exactly right. Like, if you don't care, if you're not a competitor, what the heck are you doing here?
Yeah.
But he's got that. There's a difference. I think all these guys compete, but some of them you could just see that I always go back to that over my dead body mentality.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I would rather die than lose this rep.
Brady, Jordan. Yeah,
yes,
right. There are some of those dudes.
Exactly
right.
right. Exactly right. And wow, he's got him at 6 on his big board.
Okay.
Number 7, David Bailey, edge rusher 2, out of Texas Tech. A versatile NFL starter, quick twitch, disruptive, powerful, and explosive.
Okay. And I bet if Dane was sitting here, because he's done this long enough, I'm not killing Bailey, and I didn't have him in my 21 for the Steelers. I bet he would not be 6 most years. I bet he's 13 most years.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
But you have to deal with what you got.
Absolutely.
The hand that was dealt.
So he was 7, pardon me. I don't know if I said 6, but he was 7. Yeah, David Bailey, 7. Number 8, ooh, I like this too. Spencer Fanu.
Wow.
Offensive line, his number 1 rated offensive lineman.
Wow.
And 8th
I've
overall.
Seen very few people put him number 1 overall.
Number 1. When Utah needed a yard, it was running behind number 55. That was his number.
Mm-hmm. He's not a finesse player, even though he's very athletic.
He projects as an immediate starter.
Okay. I worry he could be a Baltimore. I worry him or the guard from Penn State could be the Ravens' first pick. Although I'm also getting a lot of buzz about Sadiq to them.
I like that. I like that with Fanu, though, because sometimes, like I've said this to you before, I don't want to call myself a Big 12 guy because I actually have a lot of problems with the Big 12 conference. But I'm a WVU guy, and thus I watch a lot of Big 12 football, for better or for worse. And sometimes when I see these guys like Fanu, that I'm like, oh my God, what is that?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, it's just because you're so dialed in, and you know what I mean? And the Big 12's good football, but it's not the SEC or the Big 10, you know?
It's not Bama versus Georgia.
Exactly,
right,
but
right.
I like it. I like it when other people are kind of like, oh no, this dude is legit.
He's legit.
And Fanu and David Bailey are 2 of the best people. I saw them both at Mountaineer Field, and they're 2 of the best that I've seen in a while.
Okay.
Number 9, Reuben Bain Jr., edge rusher 3 overall, number 9. Not prototypical edge, but his power and play style will still disrupt backfields.
I'm sure he'll be good. I worry about his ceiling, though, because of his shorter arms and, body type.
That's the only thing, is it's not a kiss of death, the short arm length, but it's one. It's
not going to get easier.
It's one area where, okay, this is not a strength, so for lack of a better term, you have to make up for it elsewhere. It just gives you less room for error as a prospect in an NFL player.
And the 8-year offensive tackle in the league is going to know you're going to try to do that. Okay, your fastball's good, not great. Here comes the curve. Right.
Mm-hmm. Number 10, what'll be what here? 1, 2, the 4th Ohio State guy in the top 10, Carnell Tate.
Okay.
Wide receiver number 1 out of Ohio State, a day 1 NFL starter, and a potential Pro Bowler.
I agree with that. I don't think potential superstar, but Pro Bowler. Yeah.
So that's his top 10. I did want to look at the wide receiver list, but I want to leave that more time in the next segment because I think that's something that we've really enjoyed talking about.
I went through that one today because we did a wide receiver show in my other podcast, and there was a couple shockers in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's say because
a couple guys. He has some guys lower than I expected.
Okay. Well, let's say we got just a couple minutes till we have to break here, so let's save that one. But quarterbacks, obviously Mendoza won. This stood out to me though, because I looked at when I saw this earlier today. I looked through the quarterback rankings because we just had that conversation yesterday for those who missed it. Which rounds we would be comfortable taking these certain quarterbacks in.
Okay.
So he's got Mendoza, obviously number one,
Sure.
third on his big board overall, number one quarterback. Number two is Ty Simpson. I don't think that's surprising.
No.
But what stood out to me, and then this you'll see where my mind wanders, is Dane for Ty Simpson. He says a Daniel Jones type quarterback with fewer physical traits.
Shorter, probably not as fast.
So am I taking a Daniel Jones with fewer physical traits at pick? Certainly not 21, but even at 27,
or the Jets at 16 or whatever it is.
I'm not.
Right.
No, and that's just one guy's opinion and comp. But
right.
That
and
to
Jones
me,
went like 4 or 5, but it didn't work out great.
Exactly right. And it was
right.
like, his third stop before he finally found somewhere
Starting to look
that,
like he belongs, right?
So that sounds like somebody I would maybe take in the second round, certainly, but not in the first round.
Yeah.
He has Nuss 3, an aggressive competitor whose throws can win games but lose them too. Drew Aller 4, impressive size and arm strength, but passing instincts need improvement.
I was a little shocked he had all of that high.
Same here, but I like his number 5, Cole Payton.
Yeah.
A dynamic dual threat prospect who needs reps and times to develop. Number 6, Carson Beck. Cerebral, experienced pocket passer. May struggle playing out of structure. May also struggle when he's forced to go to the podium and do anything other than blame his coaches and his teammates. Number 7 is Talon Green. Boasts an amazing highlight reel, but 37 turnovers the last 2 seasons.
I didn't realize it was that bad.
I didn't realize it was that much, too, but that's the Talon Green experience, man.
I know he has a loosey-goosey style, but I'm sure some of those are fumbles on runs, fumbles in the pocket.
Yes, they're interceptions and fumbles, yeah. He's the proverbial... He's either gonna hit a home run or he's gonna strike out. You know what I mean? Like,
he's got those long arms.
He doesn't
and the
hit
big
many.
wind
He doesn't
up.
hit many singles or doubles into the gap. You know,
I bet he gets hit a lot as he's throwing. You know,
he's such an intriguing guy. Klubnik 8, Hayes King 9. Joe Fagiano, the UConn quarterback.
We haven't brought him up much.
We haven't talked about him much. He's interesting just because if you look at his numbers, they're nuts.
They're nuts, yeah.
He threw like 30 touchdowns and 1 interception last year at UConn. You
know,
know, not in power conference football, but a fundamentally sound passer who projects as a NFL backup.
Okay.
So, hey, if you take that guy in round 5 and he ends up being a 10-year backup, that's...
He might be a coach in 10 years, too.
He certainly could be. Certainly could be. So that's kind of his big board and his quarterbacks. I want to dig in more to the wide receivers and maybe the offensive line as well as we continue to comb through the beast here.
One note just before I forget, which isn't super important or super Steeler relevant, but my co-host pointed this out today. If you pull up the tight end list, he's got like 30 tight ends with a draftable grade. Mm-hmm. I mean... It's nuts.
Also, if you pull up the tight end list, he does not have my guy Michael Trigg in his top 10.
He's very low. He's
very low on Trigg, which is, hey, I get it. He's got a lot of concerns, but he's the proverbial buy this stock at $2 and it might be worth $20,000 in a few years type guy.
But my point with the tight ends is in the 6th round, you're going to get somebody probably with a 4th round grade.
And that's a good place to be.
30 of them are not getting drafted.
It's a good place to be if you're the Steelers right now.
Exactly.
30 of them are definitely not getting drafted. I will confidently put that chip down on the table right now.
Or even the undrafted, if you don't draft one, the undrafted free agent guy could make your team.
Absolutely.
And pay a thing for him.
You could get maybe a Jalen Warren type UDFA at the tight end position. We will continue to comb through the beast when we return, getting started here in hour number 2. Wes Uhler, Matt Williamson. It is The Drive, Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Rolling along here on a Wednesday, about a little over halfway home for today's show and a little over halfway home for the shows this week. Hour 2 going through Dane Brugler's, annual release of The Beast, his 600-page, 300 prospect NFL
Pretty nuts.
draft primer, dossier. I don't even know. It's more like a thesis.
Not like a document. I mean, it's more than that. Yeah.
It certainly is. Let's talk wide receivers here.
Okay.
As we mentioned, Carnell Tate was
Number
wide
one.
receiver one and 10th overall on his big board. Day one NFL starter, potential Pro Bowler. Number two, Makai.
Super quick.
Yeah.
And I mentioned this a little bit from the Steelers lens in our top 21. I don't envy Dane this year having to rank wide receiver like 2 through 5 because I really think it's what are you looking for? Do you need a slot
agree.
or do you need a big body? I mean, to generically have to rank them is pretty tough this year.
It's pretty tough. And I think Carnell Tate is the easy one.
Yeah.
Just because it feels like he has the least amount of questions of any of the other guys.
I also think he fits any scheme or any need better than anyone else.
Scheme diversity, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
I don't think any team would be like, I can't use that.
Like if one of these other guys ends up being the quote-unquote best wide receiver from this draft class 7 or 8 years from now.
Oh, that very well could happen. Probably is.
Wouldn't shock me. But what would shock me is if Tate isn't a really solid NFL pro. That's the wide receivers they produce out of Ohio State, man.
Yeah.
Like just hit after hit, year after year. Sometimes they're not always necessarily superstars, but they've all been really, really stinking good. Carnell Tate, day one NFL starter, potential Pro Bowler. Number 2 on his list is Makai Lemon out of USC. Here it is. Hints of Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's not wildly athletic, but he's a likely starter in the slot or at the Z position.
And I think his floor is extremely high. Like,
do you?
Yeah, I'd be shocked if he doesn't make an impact. Like, I don't think he's going to be St. Brown. That's asking a lot.
I was just going to ask.
That guy goes a Pro Bowl every year.
I keep hearing that comparison, and that kind of...
It's a little rich.
It's not, let's compare everybody to Randy Moss, like you and I always laugh about, but that... Amon-Ra St. Brown is a hell of a football player.
Tough guy, slot mostly, USC. I understand the similarities.
He's like Hines Ward, but a little more explosive,
right?
Man.
But let's not forget, St. Brown went in the 4th round.
Sure,
that's
what's crazy about
this
it too.
Profile of receiver
Hines
doesn't
Ward
go
went
in the top
3rd round,
right?
Yeah.
This profile receiver does not go in the top 10.
Might this year,
but they might this year.
Probably not, but might.
Yeah.
Might. Number 3 is Jordan Tyson.
I think the Rams could be the landing, like right around 12.
Man, he'd fit real nice with Devontae and Puka. And as we've mentioned, they're trying to win here in 2026. Number 3 is Jordan Tyson, Arizona State.
Okay.
Elite ball catcher who evokes thoughts of Stephon Diggs and a likely longtime starter.
I get that, yeah. The good is really good.
The Diggs comparison actually makes some sense.
It does.
I hadn't really thought about that, but that makes some sense.
He
moves similarly. Not the best catch
Young
radius.
Diggs.
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
So those 3, not a lot of surprises there. Number 4, Casey Concepcion.
Okay.
Needs work at the edges, but has the versatility and talent to be a starting slot receiver.
I think he's more than that.
I do too. I mean, I think he means kind of like right out of the chute here.
Okay.
But yes.
He's your number 3, and that's what he'd be with the Steelers.
Yeah,
I don't think he's beating
absolutely.
out Pittman and Metcalf in round 1. That's not what I'm in year 1.
Absolutely. So he's number 4. Number 5 is Omar Cooper Jr. out of Indiana, an inside-outside weapon with run-after-catch ability.
Yes. Really good run-after-catch stuff.
Absolutely.
I've seen some Debo comparisons. That's another guy. Every year someone gets compared to Debo.
He's so unique.
That's a little unfair, too.
Agreed.
I mean, you're not going to hand him the ball.
I was going to say, he's taking jet sweeps like a regular part of the offensive game plan. Number 6 is Denzel Boston out of Washington. Makes up for a lack of top-end speed with strong hands and a large catch radius.
And I mentioned when we started the segment that the top 6, Tate 1, 2 through 6, can kind of get shuffled depending on what you're looking for. Boston's a lot different than Concepcion. And I think those are the names. I think those are the names that could go in round 1. Somebody will fall out.
Those are the 6 you think could go in
Yeah. I don't know if anyone else could actually end up in round 1.
Number 7 is Jeremy Bernard out of Alabama. Just a good football player with a well-rounded, pro-ready skill set.
Yeah, I think I hate using like plug and play because nobody's plug and play. It's a big adjustment.
Sure.
But a professional, move the chains, can play multiple spots, physical, reliable. Coaches love those guys.
Love him.
Yeah.
And everyone raves about him as a teammate and
Big
his
time.
work ethic and all that kind of stuff. So he's 7. 8, Chris Bell out of Louisville. A rare NFL combination. Big, strong, and explosive.
So I've really warmed up to him and got super excited about him. And I've even, again, comps are dumb, but I've said words like Terrell Owens and A.J. Brown with this guy. Now, we talked about him a lot on my podcast today. He could be Treylon Burks, who went in the first round and is just big and fast to get him the ball and doesn't do anything else.
Sure.
And my co-host, Brian Peacock, also said his injury, it happened in December. So he's not going to be ready for minicamp. He's not going to be ready for training camp. Doubt he's ready for week 1. And that position, Roman Wilson's a great example. It's really hard to get on a moving train, as Tomlin mentions. Do you think Aaron Rodgers has time to coach him up when he shows up in like week 5?
No, I don't. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be getting ready for the New Orleans Saints.
Right.
Or
I need
the
you
heck
to be
we're
in the
playing
right
that
place
week.
at the right time, not, hey, Aaron, where should I be? His rookie year could be a wash.
Interesting.
Which I love everything else about him, though. He is freaky as a mover and powerful and burst and,
He's one of those guys.
What's that value?
He's one of those guys that highlight tape is impressive.
Yeah.
So he's number 8. Boston 6, Jeremy Bernard 7, Chris Bell 8. Number 9, Malachi Fields from Notre Dame. Shades of Michael Pittman, but must work on expanding his route tree.
Yeah, he's not a great separator, but great at the catch point and big. Yeah.
We've talked about that. He does not separate much on his film, which is sometimes a red flag for me because if you can't separate at the collegiate level, but
he has to work on his route running to create that separation.
Of course.
Right.
And then number 10, Antonio Williams out of Clemson. Controlled, fluid athlete who projects best in the slot.
I'd say mostly a slot, but a really good football player.
So that's his top 10 for wide receivers. I like how high he has KC Concepcion there. That's starting to
it's starting to be chalky.
Starting to gather some momentum, Matt. So
Matt Harmon, I think, has him as a second receiver too, or second or third. Yeah.
Yes. Let's go offensive line here.
Okay.
You want to talk tackles or guards?
Yeah, start with tackles.
Okay. Fanu 1.
Let's start with guards.
Okay. Olavenga Ioane out of Penn State.
Clearly.
And number 1, thick, nasty mauler on track to be a long-term NFL starter.
Yes, well said.
Number 2, and this is the sweet spot of these next couple guys here that I think could really be Steelers potentially.
Yeah, I think one of these guys, if they don't go
O-line in round 1. Number 2 is Chase Bistontis out of Texas A&M. Versatile, strong as an ox blocker with upside to fit any scheme.
I think he's my 2 now.
Was it Pregnon before?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pregnon's just not as light as, for the Steelers, Pregnon's just not as light on his feet as Bisontis. Yeah.
Makes sense. I've gone back and forth on having those guys at 2 or 3, but if Bisontis is the better fit for the Steelers, maybe that would seal it. 3 is Pregnon out of Oregon. Checks the boxes NFL teams look for and is a great fit for a gap scheme.
Right. Okay.
Number 4, we talked about this guy a little bit yesterday. Kalen Rutledge out of Georgia Tech. Solid blocker who will fight for early playing time as long as medicals are clean.
I think they're the top 4. I think all of those guys will be year 1 starters. Will go in the top, I would say the top 2 rounds, but I'll be safe and say the top 75.
Okay.
One of them absolutely could be the 53rd pick, not Venga. But one of the,
you think
Steelers,
there's a good chance one of the other 3 is on the board at 53?
I bet one of them is.
Okay.
But O-linemen go quick.
They sure do. Especially a year where there's not the blue chip guys as deep as you expect.
So we touched on Rutledge, but I don't know if we went down this road enough. He's like a ravenous dog. He plays the game as nasty as you'll see any guard play the game.
He's got that over my dead body attitude.
Yeah, and just there's foam coming out of his mouth. Crazy stuff going on. And sometimes he hits dudes and just blows them apart. It's a street fight all the time. And when he gets a hold of a safety, it's like that safety did something to his mother from back in the old neighborhood. I mean, but he's really unorthodox with his, some of the way he goes about doing things too. Like, you might need to rule him in a little
bit.
But boy, he'd be popular around here. I'm just telling you that.
I was going to say,
he's a good athlete.
That description that you just gave is something that I think people would like, and something that might mesh very nicely with one Mason McCormick on the other side of Zach Frazier. Zach Frazier can be the calm, collected center in the middle, and those two can
be two lunatics.
Those two could be the tag team champions.
Right, coming off the top rope. Right. What'd they say about Rutledge?
Solid blocker who will fight for early playing time as long as medicals are clean.
I didn't know there was any medicals, but okay.
Number 5
That's a big thing to learn from the Beast, too.
Totally.
You get that little blurb, and then you go, ooh.
I want to, when I go home later, I'm going to read his full 2-page report on Jordan Tyson because I want to see what he has to say about the medical stuff there. 5 is another guy that we've discussed, Jennings Dunker out of Iowa, an old-school power lineman, a Paul Bunyan of the offensive line who belongs on an NFL field.
Yeah, I just redid my interior. You know how we do those triple takes?
Yeah.
I just did part 2 I turned in last night, and Dunker I moved to my 5th guy, too. That's before I saw the Beast, but right.
Do you want me to go through the 6 to 10?
Just curious the names.
Jalen Farmer is 6
say is Farmer
from Kentucky.
Real high? You're right.
Yep. Athletic, bolder, who projects as a starter in the right scheme.
I wonder what you think about Farmer. Is super high upside. He is very explosive. He's very strong. You never say this about guards. His effort's terrible. There's a lot of times where he makes his initial block and then he's just kind of like, yeah.
Which is not what you want to be saying about your offensive linemen.
No, they're usually the opposite.
Through the whistle.
But if you can get him motivated, and maybe it's just not the way he's coached, or maybe it's something in the water at Kentucky,
maybe
like
being too close to your son down there
maybe he's
on
loafing
campus
with the wrong folks down there, but he needs kind of whipped into shape a little bit. Play to the end of the whistle, because sometimes he does, and it's like, wow, there's a lot of upside there.
Interesting. 7 is Billy Scheuerath, I believe is that Scheuerath is the guard from Notre Dame. How he pronounces his last name.
Well, there's like Notre Dame guards that'll play in the league for 10 years, and
intriguing promise, but durability questions. Number 8 is Febechi Weiwu, I believe is how he pronounces his last name, out of Oklahoma. Heavy-footed at times, but strong as a bull.
Okay. I don't know much about him. 9,
Logan Taylor from Boston College. Not an elite athlete, but very intelligent and tough as a short area-based blocker.
I think there's like 7 guys, and there's a drop-off. Big. I mean, these are backup types. Yeah.
And then 10 is Cage Casey from Boise State. Determined, assignment-sound blocker who could compete for snaps as a rookie.
Okay.
So that's the 10 guards. I don't think we need to spend much time on centers.
No.
Let's talk tackles here. I told you he had Fanu, number 1. 2.
Some people just put Fanu right with the guards.
Yeah.
Which I think is a mistake.
I wonder if we'll ever get to the point where there's like a hybrid type big board of these guys who have the versatility to do both. But regardless, Fanu 1, Maui Goa 2. I don't think there's a lot of surprises there. He says a durable blocker whose best NFL role may be as a guard rather than tackle about Maui Goa.
Maybe, yeah.
3 is Monroe Freeling from Georgia, young ascending prospect with real work to do, but the future looks bright. I think that's a fair way to describe him. 4 is Caden Proctor, boasts an exciting foundation, but needs his discipline and technique to catch up. He's another one of those, the discipline thing that you hear, not necessarily like a farmer like we just talked about.
No.
But his whole life has been Zeus. He's been the biggest, baddest dude on the block from high school and college, and 6'7" and 350 pounds. And
you often see this with 5-star, 4-star defensive tackles. Because whoever blocked them in their high school, right. And
their
I think
technique
Proctor
didn't have to be perfect.
Not even close.
Yeah.
I'm just a big dude that just throws a guy away in front of me. And I think Proctor has a little of that from the other side of the ball.
5 is Caleb Lomu out of Utah. Needs more strength, technique, and grit, but NFL teams are intrigued by his upside.
Okay.
6, a guy we discussed a little bit yesterday, Blake Miller out of Clemson, has the physical traits, football IQ, and toughness that NFL teams will bet on.
I think he's going to go high. I'm not sure he'll even be there at 21.
His name's been flying a little under the radar.
Yeah. I don't think he's for the Steelers, but I would understand it.
7, Mad Max, Ian Achor. Fluid athlete, but may need a year of development before being NFL ready.
Yeah, you're betting on your O-line coach a little bit, right.
And hey, they've got like 3 or 4 of those guys on the offensive staff now, the Steelers
True,
too.
true.
So he's 7'8" is Caleb Tiernan out of Northwestern.
That's where the drop-off happens.
That's where the drop-off
If you're going to get
happens.
one, you almost have to go for those names mentioned
Those
by
first
now.
7. I agree. At least if you
I
want
think
them to.
Tiernan will be a starter, but who might be somebody you're looking to replace throughout his career. But just the nature of the tackle world.
Dane says he's another one of these guys who might be best at guard.
He's a little tall and upright for that, too. But he's probably one of the best 64 centers in the league 2 years from now, but he's 50th.
Travis Burke out of Memphis is number 9, a towering prospect with a nasty disposition who's worth drafting in the middle rounds.
Really tested well. We've never brought him
I was
up.
going to say,
but
I don't think.
I haven't watched a ton of him, but he might be the guy you take in the 3rd round.
With one of those 3
and
picks.
you just forget about him for a year and
Crock-pot him, right?
Yeah, just crock-pot him.
Set it and forget it.
Yep.
And number 10, a name that we have mentioned a few times, Markel Bell out of Miami, towering top-heavy blocker with an engulfing wingspan, has NFL starts in his future.
Yeah. I mean, those guys play. I mean, it takes an extra step to get around them.
It
just does.
That's valuable, man.
Yeah, it is.
That is valuable. It certainly is.
In a
Caden
position
Proctor
that's
has
hard
that
to
going
find,
for him,
right?
too.
Bell's been in for a visit, apparently.
So there's a little dig into the beast by our guy Dane Brugler. I retweeted it. You can find it on Dane's accounts. It's on The Athletic. It's on New York Times. If you just go to Google and type in the beast NFL draft, it'll pop up for you.
Oh, yeah.
For those of you who really want some light reading in the next 2 weeks, we got to get to our final.
There'll be
break.
a quiz tomorrow, guys. You need to know it, top to cover to cover.
Yes, this will be on the test.
It will be on the test.
That used to make me nervous when I would hear that when I was younger. One more segment to go. Yins know what that means. We'll close it down with your questions, comments, concerns, and reactions before we get up out of here on this Wednesday. Uhler, Williamson, The Drive, Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Final segment here today on this Wednesday of The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio, and Yins know what that means. It's become our new favorite off-season tradition.
Yeah.
Closing down with tweets. We continue to get
Good stuff.
We continue to get so many of these. We could almost do an hour on them every single day.
I don't doubt that.
So I try, and we have our regulars who tweet, and most of the time they get in. Then we have some new people. I try and get everybody involved as much as I can.
You pick good ones, too, because a lot of people could ask about the same stuff.
Sure. And I have said that sometimes. We're like, RJ and Sudesh both asked about whatever.
Yeah.
But if your tweet doesn't get, I'll say this every once in a while, if your tweet doesn't get read on a certain day, don't get discouraged. Stay involved. You'll get out there sooner rather than later.
And I don't need tweets like, when's Aaron Rodgers going to sign? Like, I don't know.
I wish I knew.
Yeah.
If I had the answer to that, I'd probably be. Although, I don't know if I'd want to be doing anything other than this. Besides maybe just have, $500 million deposited in the bank account. But then, you know what? I'd probably still want to talk football with you, Matt Williamson. I just wouldn't do anything else. That's it. That's all I'd do.
Yeah, give me 2 hours a day.
Yeah, that's it. 2 hours a day with Matt Williamson. I wouldn't do anything on game days. I wouldn't do any extra shows or stuff. Wouldn't do my WVU show. I'd just talk football with you for 2 hours a day. And then every weekend take my private jet to Florida or California or Hawaii or wherever the heck I had a second home. T-Mac tweets, and this was actually a good spot by T-Mac. Day 1 of phase 1 of the offseason program was yesterday for the Steelers.
Yeah. I was down there and forgot the players were going to be there.
You have to struggle for parking a little bit more than you thought you might have to. And a lot of the videos and pictures and everything coming out, and T-Mac points out to us that in one of the videos that the Steelers posted with highlights, Broderick Jones was out there, and that's good to see.
Yeah.
Good observation, T-Mac. I'm with you. That at least I think is...
If he's out there doing something, that's all I wanted to hear. Right.
As good of an update or sign as we could have at this moment, kind of being in the dark. He said, after reading through the beast this morning, here's what I'm thinking. I would love to get a wide receiver in the first round, Casey Concepcion, Omar Cooper Jr., or maybe Denzel Boston. And then in the second round, I would love to come away with Pregnon or with Jacob Rodriguez, the linebacker out of Texas Tech.
I get that approach, and it's not a bad one. Don't get me wrong.
I think there is a very real chance that say the Steelers stay at pick 53, that there's going to be a linebacker there that everyone's like, ooh.
Yeah, that's at least making you consider it.
Yes.
I think that is
a good class.
Possible, yes.
And those guys can fall.
And there's nice ones to pick from, and right. I still lean towards you take the O-lineman first because if you rewind, and we didn't even get deep into it, mention the Beast. There's 20 receivers. His top 18 receivers all could be starters or top 3 guys.
And they're not all going to go in the first round. And they're not all going to go in the top 50.
Exactly. I would rather take 2 bites of those guys and 1 lineman because there was 4 or 5 guards we thought were starters and like 6 tackles.
Yes.
So if you don't get one of those 11, you didn't solve the problem. You could have added somebody to the mix, but it's not like I'm done here. Just one position short, one position isn't. And it's like that all the time. I mean, at the trade deadline, I can get a receiver every year. I can get A.J. Brown. I can get Stephon Diggs. I can get big-name dudes. I can get Tyreek Hill. I can't get a tackle. I can't get a guard.
Matt, offensive linemen are like the lifeboats on the Titanic.
Yeah.
There's not enough for everyone.
There's not enough for everyone.
So you better get a seat while
you
you
don't want to
can.
be hanging on to a board, floating to the bottom of the sea, like Leo
Please,
or
I have
whatever.
a child. I have a child. Raj tweets and says, love the show. Long-time listener. I mean this respectfully as I can. The speculation about the Steelers trading out of round 1 or back with the draft in Pittsburgh seems laughable. They're going to want the crowd pop. It's showbiz. They're going to want something flashy.
Maybe.
I think
but that's dumb.
I
think the number one goal of the organization is to win games and build the best roster they can.
The Steelers, of all the things that you could possibly think or say about the Steelers, I think the one thing that you can't argue is that they always want to field the best team that they could possibly have at the given moment.
Yeah.
They always want to it's never about 27 or 28 or 29. It's never about the next year. It's never about the next month. It's about right now, how do we win the next game on the schedule?
Yeah. And if Monday we host our show and the Steelers made a pick at 21 and the crowd went crazy, I don't want to hear a tweet that, I told you so, they're not trading back. They may not have a trade in place or one that made any sense.
And I also,
there's one that makes sense,
I think,
whether it's 33rd or 32nd or 21 or whatever,
and I think
you make the deal.
There is definitely some credence to what Raj is saying.
It's not insane.
There's those guys all down there, Mr. Rooney and Omar Khan and Andy Weidel. They're not robots. You know what I mean? Like, they know the spectacle. They know the event. And that will be in the back of their minds.
Mm-hmm.
But if someone makes them an offer that they are blown away by, I don't think they're going to say no just because we can't upset our fans.
Right. Especially if it's moving from 21 to 24.
That's the big... Trading out of the first round is a different conversation than moving back a few spots.
Right,
yes.
right.
I would be surprised if they traded out of the first round.
That I'll buy a little bit more. I mean, again, I would bet they err on the side of, no, let's make a pick on Thursday night. But if everyone in the crowd has to wait 32 more minutes for the pick,
that's fine. Go get another iron and use the restroom and get ready.
Do you think everyone's going to boo like crazy? The Steelers trade out of 21. They're now picking 25. Oh, I got to go home now. It was all a waste.
Past my bedtime.
Right.
Ooh, here's an interesting one from Frankie Z. By the way, every time you've got that water cup over there with ice in it,
I know.
And every time you shake it, it reminds me of Robert Plant shaking a tambourine. I just wanted to say that's what it sounds like. You sound like you're getting ready to bust
do the crushed ice, and it turns into like a conglomerate, so I got to beat it up a little bit. Yeah.
You need cooling. Baby, I'm not fooling. Frankie Z tweets and says, this is a good question. Is there an EPA stat for quarterbacks that is shared amongst the best franchise and Super Bowl winning ones?
I'm not sure what he means.
So EPA.
Yeah.
Is there a stat for quarterbacks that really correlates to if you excel here, you're going to be a franchise type quarterback, one of the best quarterbacks in the league? That's interesting. I don't know.
No, I mean, there is just total EPA for every quarterback or EPA per snap.
But I don't know how much of that is specifically dug into what exactly the skill set or the result was that allowed you to achieve the positive.
Nor am I the mathematician to know how the EPA was derived, but nothing comes to mind exactly, except for if you just break it down to the lowest common denominator, EPA per snap. the best guys are at the top. I mean, like Drake May was first or second. Stafford was first or second. You know, I mean, like it correlates, and good quarterbacks win Super Bowls. You know.
Here's an interesting one from Eric. He said, love you guys. Thanks, Eric. We appreciate that. Can you guys do a mock draft where you emulate the Indianapolis Colts trade hypothetical that you discussed on yesterday's
that was fun.
show?
Yeah, we kind of talked that through.
Maybe we'll do that tomorrow. I like that. I like that idea, Eric.
So if you missed it, shame on you for 6 weeks. We made a trade, just a fun talk. The Colts, who don't have a first-round pick, said, we will give you our second this year and our first next year for the Steelers first and a Steelers third. So thus, the Steelers would have 2 first-round picks next year, Pittsburgh's and Indy's, who's more of a win-now team right now anyway, and doesn't have a first-round pick.
Yep.
Like that's a team that could maybe do it.
Yeah.
And the Steelers would still have 2 seconds, 2 seconds, 2/3 this year.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't bad.
Not bad.
Yeah, right.
Maybe we'll get into that a little bit. Let's get into that a little bit more tomorrow.
Pregnon and Bernard, or you know, something like that. You know.
Let's see. We got just about 60 seconds left here. We're gonna have to do another double tweet segment tomorrow because we've got so many of these. Ian tweets and says, lots of insiders post mock drafts. Who do you guys look to as the most trusted draft sources as things start to ramp up? Love the show. Love the content. Love you guys.
Ooh.
Dane Brugler's definitely one.
He is, but I don't know if he's as dialed in behind the scenes.
I get what you're saying.
As like Daniel Jeremiah. Yeah.
Peter Schrager. As much as we didn't love his first one that he unveiled on Monday.
By no means would I say Mel is slipping, but he used to be the
he
one.
Was the Titan.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people told him stuff. Yeah.
He's still towards the top. Daniel Jeremiah might be the guy now.
Yeah. Daniel's definitely dialed in. This is what I'm hearing.
Certainly.
Todd is as well. Probably missing some others. I mean, there's great analysts out there. I think Trevor Sikkema's great.
Awesome analyst.
But I just don't know if he has many connections or people in front offices telling him stuff. And, you know.
That's what you're looking for is the Daniel Jeremiahs that you know are tapped into that world.
This guy's going to go in the first round.
Correct.
You don't know, Jacob Rodriguez is going to be a first-round pick.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really? I see it.
Yeah.
Okay.
TJ Parker's going to be a first-round pick.
All right.
That was a fun show today.
It was.
We will continue tomorrow. I want to get into some of these draft comps from ESPN. I want to get maybe more into that Colts hypothetical would you or would you not type scenario. But we'll table all of that until tomorrow. Good stuff today. Big thanks to Nate Dogg on the ones and twos. Nathan producing for us. Mr. TV, Tyler V on the video side of things. Make sure you're getting some comments in on YouTube as well. We'll pull those for the rest of the week. He's Matt Williamson. I'm Wes Uhler. Take care, everybody, and we will talk to you tomorrow. You know where to find us. As always, it's on your 24/7 home of the black and gold, Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network.